Are you forgetting that I was a professional twice over, an analyst and a therapist, the world's first analrapist?
Yes, and you were almost arrested for those business cards.
Yes, no, it did not look good on paper, but
How do you think I feel? Blah, blah, blah.
All right.
Wow.
And we're live. My man, Luke, how you doing, man? You are now in the afterglow of your campaign.
Yeah, it feels like shit.
But yeah. You told me you were hit up with allergies like a day or two ago, and you're like, I don't know. And now you're on the recovery, but I can still hear it. I can still hear it in your.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm regretting my decision right now.
Well, I can carry the burden of talking.
I think you're going to have to.
Yeah. The only thing is, I've started on a 40 here, and
great.
A couple other drinks. Well, don't.
So you're drunk, and I'm stuffed up and miserable.
A bit. Now this is very low grade for me. However,
40? 40's low grade.
Yeah. Dude, like when we were doing your closeout stream,
yeah,
I was drinking this brand called Capriccio Sangria. I believe it's run by the same people that make Four Loko. I think it's the same like head group or whatever. So it's 13.9% alcohol in that shit. That's basically like the strongest wine you can buy. And I had a 4-pack bottle set. Essentially, if you add up the total contents, it's the same as like a large bottle. By the end of that whole set of things, like I had finished it off. I think I'd finished it off before we closed out of your stream. And then I don't really remember any of the follow-up necessarily. Like I remember tidbits. Me and 3D Zach, we talked for a long whiles after everyone left. And then I was like, oh shit, like you guys had like a whole nother life going on this mail-in stream. I had no idea was going down.
Wait, what do you mean? We were on
after the fact.
I said I'm gonna go to this other one.
Dude, that's how aware I was at that time.
All right.
Tatsunami saying, yo, Tatsunami, how you doing, bro? But yeah, it's let's see, we're in the springtime of 2022.
Fuck.
I feel like we're kind of in. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know when shit's gonna go down. I don't know what's going down. Like
inflation is coming.
Dude, I feel like it's tectonic plates coming up against each other. You know, like a volcano is gonna erupt. Earthquakes are gonna go off. There's gonna be a tsunami somewhere. Like that's the kind of forces I feel like we're dealing with right now. There's this whole potential of World War III or something like it. Like I feel like the whole total annihilation of the Earth is gonna keep people's finger off the trigger. Like we're dealing with like forces we can talk to. You know, like it's not like a force captivated by like annihilation, apocalyptic dreams, or anything like that. It's just land dealings, you know, like this is Superman 1 Lex Luthor kind of stuff. Like although it's Russia, you know, like they feel like, oh, we had these lands once and it should be our lands. I feel like there's at least like actors who can talk to each other and at least come to some kind of settlement, you know, like it's not like there's like a wall like you will never get across and all of this.
Well, I just feel bad for all the hot Ukrainian babes who are getting shot at. I mean, crying.
There's a number of travesties that fall out of it. You know, it's something to leave your whole women folk, you know, and your children.
The Ukrainian babes, the hottest in the world.
Are they? Like they're ranked that way? I know they got.
They're pretty hot.
Although I hear they have like they're pretty demanding. Like this whole like get a Ukraine wife. Like they end up turning on you in the end. Well, there's this whole thing of there's this whole thing where you bring them over. Have you seen any of like I don't know if you had a girlfriend who was into like 98 Day Fiance and you see like first they're like freaked out. Like they come over and they see like just our fruit and like our produce and our meats and stuff, and they're just like, this is not right. Like because it's all been.
What do you mean?
it's all been genetically engineered or hormone injected, so it's like much larger than normal.
They're used to more rustic,
pathetic and they're just like, what is this? This is clearly not normal or whatever. And like for us,
it's not real food.
It's just another stop at the grocery store. And then they get used to like kind of the lifestyle, because a number of them, they're kind of settling. They're in a situation, and they're looking outward for like a leg up or another chance. Like they're not in prime life, or if they are, like you definitely see them kind of working the other end. And they don't seem to understand, like, okay, yeah, America's great, but it's not like everyone's like there's not an answer for everything you ever want. But some of them expect that too. And even the ones who are well-to-do, like, dude, they get stripped for everything they got. Like, like they're doing well. They're like they're crushing it in terms of like what a person got to do. Like they got the 6 figures rolling in. A growing enterprise, all this stuff. Jesus. But it's
who are
still
you talking about now? Who are you talking about?
Okay, there's a kind of famous in the 90-Day Fiancé case, a guy named Jorge George, and he was like in weed business in California before it was like legalized. Like he was doing illicit stuff, but then gets legalized. He's in on the ground floor to like grow up inside of it, like make a business out of it.
Oh, federally, he's hitting the ground running because he's already
federally still a crime, but in California completely legal. But he's got all the hookups, all the connections. He's making money. He's driving around in a great car. He's got the watch. He's got all the money and everything, and he gets a Russian bride.
Go on. Didn't Congress just pass a bill to make weed a non-federal crime?
I'm not sure. I heard something about that, but I'm not sure about it. If you want to search it, go ahead and search it.
I'm gonna search this, and you continue with your analogy.
Yeah. So, well, this is 90-Day Fiancé. Like, this is one of the famous couples because it ended very sour, and she was like Russian girl getting plastic surgery, very young, but she wanted like Louis Vuitton purses and shit all the time. Like it's just like 10 grand. You're dropping at a designer place 10 grand every fucking week to keep this girl happy. And it was good in the stages leading up to it, but then he brings her over and suddenly she's expecting all this shit, and he's like, you don't need like a $50,000 wedding dress, you don't need a $20,000 wedding ring. But she's like, well, I'm worth it. Like she just had no give, right?
Well, that's the thing. That's the key. You never bring the Ukrainian babe to America. You just stay in Ukraine. Well, I mean, don't do it now. It's like probably the last place you should be staying right now.
Well, the reality series took on a total like twist where they like do 90 days over there and shit. Like it's crazy. Like you're just like, wow, these people are like making the worst mistakes of their lives.
Oh yeah.
And there's very few. I think there's only one where it was like literally the dude was in Brazil when he was young. He had like this like childhood crush that he returns to years later because he visits back. He's in Los Angeles. He's kind of made a name for himself in like film industry, and then he meets back up with his childhood crush, and like they make it work because he has a connection from the original source. Like it's not like completely foreign to him. It's mostly foreign to him. But at the same time, like there's a whole draw, but there's totally like every time this happens, it's like the biggest thing is where do you want to lie? Like, do you want to be with your family here? Or are you willing to cut all ties, lose your family back where you're from, and start over again in America? Or are you looking for your whole family?
Chicks don't do that. Chicks want to be near their family.
Yeah, and it's like the ultimate test of the whole fucking thing, and it's crazy what you see some people go through, and you're just like, man, like somebody should, like your whole friend's family structure is telling you like you're making the biggest mistake, man. Yeah. You're giving up your job, you're selling everything you own just to have money to go and start this new life, but you're hoping to convince them to come over here, and they'll never do it. Like they're convinced, and it's a hard sell. Like I totally get it.
Yeah. Women, man. Women. Anyway.
Just life, yeah.
There's the bill. There it is.
Hold on a second. Add it to stream.
Look at that.
Bill to legalize marijuana passes U.S. House, but faces Dem prospects in Senate.
So it is happening.
I mean, we're almost there. We're almost there, but it's like a crazy too. I don't know. I feel like I talked about this with somebody where it's just like the weed content has changed so drastically from what it originally was. Like it's super hardcore. And I remember even hearing Cecil and John, you know, like guys who are well into like drug usage and stuff, like being like, man, like you'll get rocked by like like these edibles, the THC content stuff. Like,
I mean,
like
yes and no.
It's true. I think if you're used to it, you won't be. But like, I know like from just what I've tried and stuff, I'm like, damn, like,
well, yeah,
like I can't even
that's because
think properly.
Yeah, the one that because I got sent one recently from somebody we won't discuss.
Mm-hmm.
And that one was, I think it was kind of cooked at home, made at home in brownie form.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, that's good. It's not going to be like properly proportioned out. And so, like if you take a larger dose and it's like from an unreputable source, you're going to have a different experience than say if something that's like more properly proportioned out, like 10 milligrams, like per tiny square or something like that, where it's more like a relaxant and in a euphoric sense. So that's just been my experience.
Yeah, like I tried like what I go to or what I like the most, but it's like irregular now to get my hands on it. Is like there's a gummy bear pack where essentially every gummy bear is about 10 milligrams, and like some hit harder than others as far as I've seen, but it's fairly regular. And dude, 10 milligrams, like if I'm like as dry as I am, and like dude, I was pretty much straight edge into my 20s.
Yeah.
And then I started drinking and I was like, why didn't I start this sooner?
What?
Yeah. Like I waited till I was legal, 21. Like people don't believe me. And I'm just like, there's no reason for me to lie about this. Like I didn't drink till I was 21. I was just like, I'll try it out, just see it. Cause I just saw so many people that looked like sad and depressing, like as drunks. I was like, it doesn't really entice me. Yeah. And then I tried it. I'm like, oh, this is fucking great. You know, as long as you don't get sick, it's fucking great. I was never big on the whole smoking thing, and so like I just got into edibles. So I was like, it's legal, and so where I'm in the DC Beltway area. In Washington D.C., it's legal, but again, the whole federal thing, and like you have to think like that place is crawling with fucking feds. Like in every number. But they still have like places that sell stuff and do stuff, and so I finally got my hands on like edibles, and this is just the stuff like, and this shows just like it seems like something where I can piecemeal it, and see how much I want, and it's measured out, and it's been the best like overall thing that I've had. But at the same time, dude, that shit flattens me out. Like I've never built up any tolerance at all, you know. So when I have it, like it's like I'm starting from absolute zero, and like I took
every time, or
I would take one. Well, not every time, you know. After you've started it, like you have something going on, you know. By the end of the whole thing, like I'm like some tolerance, but I don't buy it. Like I'm not stocking up on this like it's toilet paper, you know. Like it's not as if like I have like a constant supply. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll say this, man. It pieces me out. Like I'm like, I can just be in total bliss staring at the fucking ceiling, in it. But at the same time, I'm like, I understand. Like, dude, I can get trapped in this so easy.
Sure. So, like, I mean, if you're not careful, but I mean, I've been lucky that I haven't. Oh, there's Jay Dollar. Why aren't you in here, Jay Dollar?
He's probably hosting or his kids or some shit.
Oh yeah.
I sent him the link. He'll be in if he wants to. Sober till almost 30, son. Yeah.
Ooh. All right. Well, I was gonna say, did I tell you this story the one time that I had too many cookies?
No, but I can probably commiserate. Go on.
Yeah, so I just bought like a pack of them for the first time before I'd like tried out. I feel like I have told you this story. Anyway, I'll just say it anyway. Before someone had been like, here, have some like chocolate covered coffee bean weed thingies, right? And so I tried them out and they were all right. She was like, just take one, wait an hour, take another one. Like if you don't feel much, take another one, wait another hour, so on and so forth. It's like, okay, cool. She's very kind person to sort of lend me like a few beans. And so I was like, all right, well, this is interesting. That was coffee beans. I wonder what cookies are like. So I bought like, a pack of them. Never done it before. And I had this habit where I would, when I'm like sitting at my computer, like looking through stuff like for reference and stuff like that, I would absentmindedly like, just munch on like whatever snack I had in my hand. So like, a pack of chips or something. I'd just be like absentmindedly just chewing on shit. And I had the pack of wheat cookies and I'd taken one already, but I still had it in my hand and I got distracted on the internet and I started absentmindedly eating whatever was in my hand at that time, which was the pack of weed cookies. And I think I had like I don't know exactly, but
it must have tasted good. Like if you were just munching on it without any consideration.
There was no taste. It tasted just like cookies. I was like, yeah, munch. And then I stopped. I think I couldn't remember how many. I think it was like 4 or 5 I'd had. I stopped like just before I was about to eat like the 5th or 6th one. I looked down. I was like, oh shit. And I put it back in the bag. I was like, okay. What should I do? So I just went over to my bed. I just laid down, and I had the most massive trip I'd ever had in my life. It was like I was sort of hallucinating, but I knew it was a hallucination. It was like a thin film, a thin, transparent film that was over my eyesight, and it was the whole what do you call it? The rainbow tunnel kind of thing, and bizarre imagery and stuff like that. But like I was fully cognizant. I was like, yes, I'm in my bedroom. I'm just having a trip. It's fine. And that was my story.
Well, that's kind of cool. So I did.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I had here's the thing. I kind of clipped out there for a while, so I didn't hear the whole thing. So I didn't want to have you like start over or anything. But I heard like, oh, I ate this much and now I'm on all this much more, and I'm just like, oh, I totally get that. I got like a Nerds pack of something.
Oh. Like a little box.
Nerds gummy clusters is what they were. And it was 600 milligrams, and I just like did them all in the night. Like it was just the candy was so good, man. Like I couldn't even taste anything in the content of it. And like I had one, I had two, and I just weighed in, but I was like, oh man, I don't know. And I just like finished off the whole thing. And then, dude, by the end of it, well, I passed out for a while. And then like I woke up to like go to the bathroom, and oh my God, I was shaking from the effect of it. Like it was crazy. Like it was crazy. And like then as like I'm in the bathroom, like I'm feeling the taste of it in my stomach or something. Jeez. And I was about to like puke it up, and I was like, okay, just keep your shit together. Yeah. And like just from like getting there and like just even getting around was like a struggle. And then I just went back to the bed and I like passed out. And dude, it was like the deepest. That's the thing I have to say. It will give me like the deepest fucking sleep. I'm a very light sleeper. This shit just like knocks me the fuck out. But then it'll fuck me up on the aftermath, like where I'm like wide fucking awake because it's the best sleep I've ever had.
The thing is, I don't really get to sleep, but it does relax me, so I feel a little more rested. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah,
like I don't sleep. I just kind of like, I don't know. It's
I find my problem is I can't like get myself in the work mode if I have it. Like it's just like
it's the opposite for me. Like I'm like I work like a crazy motherfucker. I do kinds of shit.
Dude. That's awesome. Yeah, I wish I wish it worked like that for me. I feel like
that's the other thing. Like
more my mojo like drink or my mojo drug, I guess. Like I get energized by it. Okay. However, like it fucks me up way. Like I mean, I can get over I got over that whole like 600 milligrams next day. I was fine. But like if I did the same kind of thing in alcohol, I'd be fucked up for like a day or two, like where I couldn't do shit because I just felt like shit.
Well, here's the other thing. I think I might have said this before as well. Like 90% of the development of Forsaken Gods was done while I was on edibles.
Oh shit!
I just become so creative. I like come up with all these crazy ideas. And I'm just like, I'm gonna write it all down, man. This is gold.
Do you think that would be like a bonus? Like you put that in the campaign, or do you think people would be put off by that?
What do you mean?
This 90% of the story was written while under the influence.
No, not story development. So like the world and characters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. So
I feel like there's something to that too, though. It would be something to get into. Like I'd love to do more research on it and dive into it more.
Quote unquote.
No,
research.
well, not necessarily in that respect, but like shamanism. And what it was to be a shaman back in the day, and like they were like, I mean, all the oracles, all the shamans and the mysticals, like everyone that was like to lead or at least semi-lead entire like organizations and kingdoms, empires. Like they were under the influence, man, and it was like shit that was like so far out there. Like they were huffing like the fumes of the earth that would kill a person necessarily. And it's just like how I'm curious to know how many things were like done under the influence, how strongly everything, and how many things were shaped by it. Like it's kind of out of the. I mean, I have to say, like, it's out of the body experience. Like you look at shit in front of you, and like you can totally interpret it like it's a fucking landscape 300 miles long, even though it's like 3 feet in front of you. Like you're able to like do these tricks in your mind that I couldn't do otherwise. Speaking for myself.
Well, they did
I'm a shaman today.
During King George's reign, like everybody in England was like drunk because it was safer and cleaner to drink beer than it was to drink the water.
Well, that was the thing. Yeah. Mead was like the alcohol would at least purify the drink in a way over the water you could drink. So it was like a regular thing to get like to have like beer. Although I don't know if
everyone was drunk though.
Yeah,
even the fucking kids were drunk.
Yeah, and I don't know like how drunk they were. I don't know how strong it was, but I mean, yeah, it at least was like a cleanser. And I mean, in that time period, I mean, yeah, the trade-off was in your benefit. Like you're talking about you might die from like the pests in your drink. So yeah, it could have been in your benefit to just drink mead or whatever. We have this clip now you sent me. I want to get it up here. Man.
Yeah, let's do it.
It takes way too long to set it up though. I should have it set it up before I said anything.
Jeez, amateur.
Well, it's like three or four button presses going around the screen,
Yeah.
But here we go.
Lex Luthor. I've played Lex Luthor. I've played The Flash. But the part I've always wanted to play isn't Ghost Rider, and it isn't Thor. It's Cecil in Cyberfrog movie. That's right. Lex Luthor.
Man, crazy revelations.
That's a hell of an endorsement right there. And I don't blame him, really.
Yeah.
That's an evil genius. Cyberfrog world.
You'd have to put on white, though.
Oh, yeah, but I don't think, Matt Damon said that was a great role for him when he was like the FBI informant.
Oh, yeah.
I forget what that movie was, but like where he's just like, wait, I don't have to work out. I don't have to do all this crazy shit.
Was that the one with the, what's his name? Jack Nicholson and Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, I don't. I think you're thinking of maybe Departed. It was another thing. It could have been because I know like that's more what's his fucking name? It's the director. Like some of these directors get like clientele where they just like reuse them over and over. I'm looking them up right now though. Seeing his
Spike Lee.
casting.
I think it's Spike Lee.
Was it?
Yeah.
A Spike Lee movie.
But The Departed was actually an adaptation of a Korean movie called Infernal Affairs.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, which was just kind of crazy, but at the same, like I actually really loved that movie, and I laughed out loud really hard. Early on in the movie, there's a shot. It's all about as I don't know if they explicitly say it's Whitey Bulger or they just acknowledge it's Whitey Bulger influenced, like the Boston Gangster. But there's a thing where he has like this couple out on the beach, and he shoots them, and like the one like just falls over like so they're on their knees, blindfolded, gagged, or handcuffed or bound behind them, shot in the back, falls forward, and the next one he shoots in the head, like falls sideways, like at a weird angle. And he says, "She fell funny," and I just burst out laughing because like it was true. Like she fell funny, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm the only one in the whole fucking movie theater who like found this funny." But I genuinely thought it was actually funny. To the whole thing, I'm looking through his IMDb. I'm guessing. Let's see.
Maybe
I'm
I
seeing
got it
Incorporated. No, I know he was, and well, I'm talking about the thing where like he's an FBI informant. Hold on, I'll just search that instead. Sucks when you do bad searches, man.
Yeah, this is a captivating show so far.
Well, you know, we talked about our.
Are we going to talk about a video?
Going into. It's called The Informant. God damn, what a.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
The Informant.
That's really what it was called? Wow.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah. But yeah, essentially he's like this pudgy dude, and like he's like I remember hearing like him say like because he's used to doing like the Jason Bourne series and all this other shit.
Yeah.
Like where he has to be like in shape, do shit, and like this is just like the easiest thing where he's just like playing like kind of like this middle class dope. Like I forget how he gets wrapped up into it, but he's like too stupid to actually do the role correctly, and they're just like he's mic testing the mic before he goes into the place and like stop fucking like the FBI's being like don't do this, man, like you're giving yourself away, like shut the fuck up. But it was like, and I never saw the actual movie, but I remember seeing him just because he's like relieved. And at this point, I know in the last Jason Bourne film, he was like in his mid-30s, Bourne Ultimatum, and this is like well after that. And like I can totally see where he's just like, fuck my life if I have to do another like action film and do all the same shit. Like I'm expected even to do like halfway the action scenes, like because they're just crazy demanding what they expect.
Yeah,
and all that.
It's a young man's game.
For sure. And you know, most of these dudes like they hit their stride, like get the big billing, like in their 30s and stuff. So
yeah,
gosh, I'm kind of wondering like where Daniel Craig was when like he was announced as James Bond. Like I really love Casino Royale.
Yeah, I mean you'll occasionally get guys who like in their 40s can still fucking cut it. You know, it's like but they're real chads. Those guys.
What sucked is like they had a great start to his like inauguration. Like I mean, Casino Royale is generally beloved by most people. Even the James Bond aficionados who are looking for like that James Bond touch. After this, they say like it's more Jason Bourne like with Quantum of Solace and everything. But I actually really digged like where they were going with that. Like it was going back into the Spectre days, like a grander conspiracy. And I have a friend who was really into the Bond series and stuff when it was going down. And he's like, yeah, I like Quantum of Solace. And then I was like, yeah, but I fucking hated how Skyfall, I think it was, like kind of totally forgot about that whole thing, sidelined it, and went into this whole other arc. They still managed to tie it back in the end, but like it kind of like dropped that ball that they were going with, like this grander conspiracy. And at the same time, Tom Cruise on Mission Impossible did Rogue Nation, and that was just like a fucking awesome movie. And that followed up on Ghost Protocol, which I really like too. Brad Bird directed Ghost Protocol, which was really like he was doing live action films, and I feel like that was his first one, or maybe it was after The Spirit. Like I think, was he on The Spirit or?
No, Frank Miller did The Spirit.
Okay, so he like that might have been one of his first. I was like, damn, like Brad Bird is just racking it up because he was looking at doing The Spirit. I think he got sidelined for that. Like he was wanting to do that, and he got signed for it. And I was just like, fuck, like this is a really great Mission Impossible movie. Like I heard the third one, I never saw it, but J.J. Abrams was so. But I saw Ghost Protocol, and like it was just like the face mask thing fucked up. There's the whole thing where like he's climbing up the side of the
yes, I've seen it.
The Dubai building, and like the glove gives out. Like it's about failure and shit. Like he works in all these elements. That
but
really makes it work better.
It's still exactly the same film though.
I mean, I really liked it, but Rogue Nation is like the film I was expecting, like James Bond to give in on with Spectre, and it didn't hit it, man. And they even had what's his name, Christoph? I forget the guy from Django Unchained, the German guy, and Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah,
the German dude. And like he was in on it, and he was playing Blofeld, and they just like it was just like such a monumental like thud, like Wile E. Coyote going off the edge of a cliff, thud at the bottom of the cliff, sort of hit with it, and
especially how he was like, I think, what's his name, John Batista was in it as well, in that one.
Was Batista in that?
I think he was.
If he is, I don't remember him standing out. He might have just been like a general thug.
No, he played the dude with the metal thumbnails that gouges out that dude's eyes who fails.
Oh, it might have been like Spectre, dude. I forget so much about it. The only thing I remember was me and him. We watched me and my buddy. We watched it on like DVD because I didn't go to theaters to watch it. Because I didn't even know what we were gonna get, and he's like, "Yeah, I got the movie. You want to watch it?" He's like, "Yeah, okay." And then we saw that there was this option on the DVD for like English audio description, where like it's literally like somebody telling you what's happening as it's happening.
Oh my god!
Like,
is that for like deaf viewers? Or blind viewers?
Or blind, yeah, blind
viewers.
Yeah, and it's just like, why would they get a movie, and why would they expect this to be a track? And it's great going through the titles because it's like partially reading the credits, like it's the major credits announcements plus like what's going on, and it's just like octopus grabs several women in silhouettes. Like it's just like I'm wondering like how they're gonna actually describe this as we go along. And I think we only got 5 minutes in. I was like, all right, well, I'm done. Like, I can't go this whole movie like this.
Yeah.
But I was just surprised.
After a while. Yeah.
But this is like a whole audio track option on the thing. Like, it's just like you could have had another language in there, like as an option for people. I was like, what market is this really going to? Like, how small a market is this really going towards? It was, I don't know. It just kind of surprised me. So one of the things before we got in here, I don't know who we lost because we were at least 2 viewers at the start of this.
Yes.
I watched before we started this. I watched this video by your boy Zach, released today.
Are we gonna bring it up? Or?
Yeah, I'm bringing it up right now.
All right.
And his thing is late isn't great. Reducing crowdfunding to ordering from Amazon ruins everything great about it. So he's talking about like the crowdfunding aspect is being lost because people are like there's been a shift on projects to like basically have it ready to ship when it's done and all that. And it's kind of like I feel like he's mixing up his data here. I'm gonna try
this was in response to what Douglas Ernst had tweeted.
let me see if this brings it up here. Okay, so what he's looking at in his data, I won't go through the actual video just because it's taking longer at the point than I'll get to it. Yeah. But he's looking at, and he says the project that gets the most. Oh shit! Trying to zoom in here without shit. Here, I'll make it theater mode here, and let me see how that looks on the screen here. Yeah, that's good. As far as the layout goes. So he's looking at Expendables Go to Hell. He says this is the one that had the most excitement for it. Now, I feel like he's forgetting the fact this is like an actual fucking movie title, like established franchise. Like you have fans ready to bite at it. And Chuck Dixon was on it writing. I'm not sure how much I added it to it, but he had a number of like there was actual Sylvester Stallone signed copies. There was all sorts of shit tied into it, like on the project, where it's just like he's like, yeah, this got the best reaction afterwards, even though it was 16 months late. So this is his tally here. 16 months late, he's like, yeah, it got the most on it. And then he compared it to Is This You, which is his latest fulfilled project, which was ahead of schedule. And he's just like, yeah, there's something about the wait time that, you know, like people are like, they anticipate it and stuff. It's like, I could see that. I don't think anyone's going to ever complain that you're ahead of your schedule, but I think you're grossly missing the fact that this was like a major franchise. This is also the Expendables Go to Hell. Sorry, up here was also like the one of the last projects. I feel it was the last project he came in on a stream for. Like he was actively promoting it. He was hitting it up and like talking about it along with like other people on his team. And after that, he just fell off the map. Like, Is This You? I feel like probably because it was like in conjunction with Narwhal. Narwhal did like more promotion than he ever did. And at the same time, he was looking at like kind of like wrapping it up. Like, okay, it's here. Let's wrap it up. Let's send it out. Like, kind of like a focus on like get the orders in, get the orders out. Yeah. It's kind of like, well, you didn't really have that going on with this other one. This other one, you had everyone trying to hype it up. It was like on fire the day it dropped. I thought it was honestly, I thought it was like a book review he had done when I saw it on Twitter, because it was like out of nowhere. He's like, Expendables Go to Hell. And I was like, oh, he reviewed a book that's called Expendables Go to Hell. Okay, he's in the Expendables. I'll see what that's about. No, he was launching the book. And it was like he was nowhere to be seen like a day of. I think it was like day after or so. Like he showed up on streams and stuff. Like Ethan Van Sciver, like just did a promotion stream out of the blue for him. And like everyone's just like, wow, I can't believe like he got this license and he's in on the project. All that. But it had a lot of hype behind it. And it had a lot of backing too, just because it was kind of like a bigger name thing. And I feel like he's missing that because he's focused on that as like his like, okay, it was 16 months behind like fulfillment, but everyone loves it, versus this other one that is 2 months ahead of schedule. And he's like, nobody's really back like getting it on. It's like, okay, this is super fucking recent. Like not everything's done. I just got mine today. I posted a Twitter post on that. I just got mine in the mail today. And it's just like, dude, like you got to give this some time, and you have to figure in too, like the expanse of like the property acknowledgement, plus like how far have you actually promoted this or anything? Like what's the landscape? Because Expendables Go to Hell, that's June 2020. That's kind of post the lockdowns, but we haven't really hit the shit yet. People getting funny money from the government, all that. Like there's all sorts of reasons to back a project back then, and I'm sure people love it because like you had great artists filling in to like make it happen, and it all came together. Whereas this is just like your typical collaboration that you do, but you didn't do really anything to push it. Like that's so disparate, you know, like that's far removed.
That's so classic Zach, you know.
But
like if you're in a room with him pointing that out, he'll probably make, or if he sees this, he'll probably make another video and says, I understand the criticism, let me explain, and then he'll come up with I don't want to say excuse, but for lack of a better term, a different excuse that explains where he's like, yes, I realize it's a bigger thing, but this key little bit of information is what sets us apart, what makes me right, makes you wrong, kind of thing. So
I don't know if he would be that black and white about it, but I do feel like he'd probably. I mean, he obviously has his own take on it already, but watching, I was like, "That's your takeaway from it, man." Like,
yeah,
I get his point where, like, I do feel like we're starting to forget that campaigns are meant to actually like push forward somebody from an unknown spot into a known spot, like essentially.
but that's the thing, that that waning of that phenomenon, I agree, like that's what campaigns are supposed to do, because it's supposed to, I guess, circumvent the whole gatekeeping thing that you would normally, all the hoops that you would normally have to jump through to get funding in order to get your book published in the first place, or anything kind of funded.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since celebrities started getting onto crowdfunding and like sucking up all of the, I guess, potential backers with their star power, like that whole thing has been completely subverted, because as usual, rich people ruin everything. And so now we have to try and find new ways to, I guess, stay ahead of the game, so to say, and like having your book done ahead of time is one of them. And that, I feel like that's one of the key things that Zach's like completely overlooked.
Can be. I would feel bad for anybody. Like I know some creators have taken the chance and gone in on it. Like Rich Ayala with Roach Balls, like he completed that whole book. Like he has all the artwork finished. It's in a binder. Like he shows it off, and I'm just like, "You selling those pages?" He's like, "No, I'm not selling them, man." Like he's selling original artwork, but not anything from his actual book.
Yeah,
and it's just like crazy to think like this dude went like these are all like hand done pages, 60 something pages in. And he had it done, and he was putting in these like small like super chats, $2, just saying Roach Balls over and over and over again, like seeding the soil, in a way. And then like he launches his campaign, and it just happens to like be something of a hit. But at the same time, like I'm gonna look it up right now. I think it's like only past 10K. It's not like a runaway like hit like $50,000 or something like that. But seemingly everything he has is done. But man, like imagine like you're just like, this is your dream, you're looking to come up, but like you dedicate everything you have to it, and you only have like $2,000. Like it's nothing to compensate you for the time you actually spent on it.
Well, that comes down to marketing, Zach. Sorry, Lucius.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I'm losing it.
It's fine. I mean, so yeah, he's at 11,857. Like this is I would say one of the like quote unquote hits. Like it just kind of took off. People were covering it out of the blue.
Well, it hits those marks of I guess grotesque, unique, and appealing kind of thing, It's it's eye-catching. People are like interested, like, what's this all about? Because I guess people want that kind of thing as well. So,
but I would say if this showed up in like 2018, he'd be looking at 3 times, 4 times this money.
Probably.
So like and like your campaign too is another one that I would put up there. Like it would be raking in more money. It comes down to like you fill a campaign, more word of mouth spreads, everything. Like people get a
see. I hear people say that, but I don't think that's the case at all. The only reason I got to 9 figures is because of that mail-in bump. It would have stayed at around 6K.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's
9K.
I think it's all about like you have to be.
Here we go. I know what you're gonna say, but say it. Go ahead and say it, motherfucker. Say it.
Well, you have to kind of line up all your ducks in a row on a camp. Like if it were first campaign, it would just be like, you better be laying down the tracks that you can make it on pretty much every major, like every A list, B list, C list stream you can in the time that you're campaigning. Would be my thing to do. Like get in the chats, get on it, send out messages, and try to like line yourself up. And it either works out or it doesn't. And sometimes it's just like you just have that magic working in your corner. I would have said, like, that campaign we just looked at, it had magic working in his corner, but look, he's only at 12K. Like that isn't like runaway money, you know.
Look, no one's gonna.
I'd be happy.
No one's gonna turn their nose up at 12K.
Right.
Nobody. Like 12K is a pretty good number.
But there were campaigns like same kind of thing behind it. And at the start of this whole thing, without all the projects going on at the same time, would have been 30K, 40K or more, you know, like some of them got up to 50, 60, 70, 80K, you know, still waiting for some of these projects to still be done. Yeah. By the way, at least his is all done. And that's the thing. Like people want to know, like, okay, you've sunk time into it. You've actually invested your own time into it. It's worth it to you to finish it up. But at the same time, it's just like if I were starting up a new project, like, God, you know, doing more than 5 to 10 pages, like you're asking me to do a whole book without any promise of like return.
Yeah, it's
like that's a lot of commitment you're asking us.
Yeah, it's a daunting prospect. Let me put it that way, because if it doesn't fund, then you're stuck with this thing that you've made. And I mean, I guess there's different ways of looking at that. Like you could either be like, shit, now what I'm going to do with this? Or, well, I've got a book. I've got something at the end of this, even if it isn't a whole lot of money. But,
yeah. And the thing is, like the big creators, the ones that have come from like mainstream into this, who get a spot on Ethan's show, Malin's show, like the main shows. I mean, in the Comicsgate universe or whatever, they don't really have to. I don't think they have to worry the same way an upstart has to worry. You know, like they can just do their book. It can be ready to go. Like I would almost bet my life they'd make 50K. No matter what. I'd almost say like they come with 100K. With the promotion and everything.
I feel like that would have been true 2 years ago.
I feel like it's true now. Like if they're insiders,
I have a feeling that we're starting to tap out the well too quickly.
Maybe
there are more campaigns starting this year than there were last year, and I feel like it's just going to keep increasing exponentially until the point where everyone's going to start scrabbling for crumbs.
It might end up that way, you know, and it's kind of just like then it becomes Darwinism, you know, like a campaign Darwinism, like who's got the best looking campaign, who's managed to get those best spots.
No, I wouldn't even say that. It's not who has the best campaign. It's like who has the best connections. It's the same problem all over again that Comicsgate was supposed to prevent in the first place.
Well, I guess you always run into that, you know. It's sort of that the Dark Knight, where it's just like you either live long enough to die short enough to be the hero, or live long enough to be the villain. Like and it's like the Who song, like meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Like you know, like the fundamentals are still there, and like as much as you try to shake up the system, break it, it finds its way back there again and again and again. I would say as much as like modern campaigns go, this is like the one that has like I've never heard of this. Like I never even paid attention to the Roach Balls super chats and everything. And then like it was like literally them dropping a trailer in the middle of like one of their live streams, where it's just like, this is Cat Shit City. Like welcome to Cat Shit City or whatever. Yeah. And like you just laugh out loud like at that starting premise.
It catches attention.
Yeah. And here's the thing is like either you're turned on by that or turned off by that. Like it's kind of like it's not really trying to grab the greatest audience possible. it's looking for the audience that is there that wants it. Like this is a campaign that knows what it's going for. Like if you even read like through his shit here, let's see. Not gonna lie to you, Rich Balls is irreverent, depraved, immature humor aimed at adults, pure, uncut, and then you get down to like the rest of his text. Like this is like the shit where it's like, look, what's in it? It's all good shit, homies. We're talking to blend inspirations, and like, and then it says, guess what, motherfuckers? Like, I mean, like this is somebody who is like tailoring his entire thing, like even like the like lizard hand glove he handles everything with. Like this is all just like then it's like you get a fake glow in the dark crack rock. It really glows, but you shouldn't smoke it. Yeah. You know, like it's like this guy is clearly going for like a edgy kind of
he's
thing.
got a theme. Yeah.
And he follows through the whole way through. And like if you dig it, you're gonna back it without a second thought. If you don't, if you have any hesitations, you're probably not. And here's the thing, he sold out on like his higher tiers, like these original art things over here on the side.
Yeah.
He could have, I think he probably could have sold another 4 or 5 of these, but he like these are all one of ones that we're looking at. $400, and like I've seen other campaigns do original art at $300. He's had his are at $400, sold out, every last one of these. And I feel like he could have had double that like droppage on it and like made it. And like I said, if I asked him, were you ever planning on selling these original pages at all? Because I saw it wasn't like part of the thing, and that's like one of the usual offerings on most of these campaigns is the original art, which is usually just the ink pages. He actually hand colors every one of these pages.
Yep.
Like these are all colored themselves. And
but I mean,
like,
look, like if you look up Disintegration Street, it's the exact same thing. Hand drawn, colored pages, great book. But that thing can't. He's not making $11,000.
Disintegration pages. I'm not sure.
Disintegration Street.
Street. Shit.
What is this? Is that how you spell disintegration?
Nope, yeah, it's clearly this one.
Yeah, that's it.
I was hoping it was close enough.
And he's on volume 3.
Wow, only 3,500 for 500 gold.
So this,
although this is
this completely destroys your argument.
This is like more simplified.
But do you see there's like a difference, obviously? Like this is a guy who is really into like story and narrative and kind of like he's got a quirky little style about him. He's a down to earth kind of artist and storyteller who just wants to hone his craft and tell a good story. And yet,
now where did you hear about this? Because I haven't even heard about this.
So this is a friend of Narwhal's, Brendan Swan. Like Narwhal was like, just like me, Narwhal's been trying to help this guy sort of get his stuff noticed, and it's, as you can see, it's really hard for him to do that. So.
Now, has he like actually been on live streams? Has he been in promotions, or is this just like word of mouth from other people? I'm not sure. I don't think he has. I think he's like even more of a recluse than I am. Because I think he's like a pretty big introvert, and he's not very comfortable like being on stream talking about stuff. But I mean, maybe check Narwhal's channel just to see, just in case. But yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I can look through that to find out. I think I remember him recommending probably the earlier sets. Because I remember recommending something. I was just like, I don't know, because it looked kind of amateurish on the art side of it. I mean, even this is kind of like in between. No, but I mean, he's hand coloring it. He's hand drawing it. Mm-hmm. This is all. I'm not lacking the amount of dedication it takes, but it's just like I think there's a reality. People who do these campaigns have to realize, like, you have to be out there like promoting it, even if you don't want to. Like, it's not my thing to talk to people,
like
but I do.
Asking an artist to promote like a talented artist, which this guy is, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Asking a talented artist who's spent most of his time behind a drawing board to go out there and promote his work is like asking a fish to climb a tree. It's like a totally different set of skills, and I struggle with it. I can't really do it that well. I mean, I can sort of do it, but I'm nowhere near the level that you would need to be in order to get some good figures, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he's probably like a much worse case scenario as a case. And I'm fading fast. I
mean, I would just say like it sucks. Yes, it sucks because I wish like people who have a vision have like and like it all translates on page. I wish like that's all you had to focus on. But the fact is, if you're going into indie crowdfunding,
sure.
Like if you really want to make a runaway success, if you're really trying to make the best of it, like having a personality, then it doesn't have to be much.
You are asking introverts to have a personality and put themselves out there.
Dude, I'm an introvert. I mean, I don't know how much that comes across.
Well, we're not massive introverts, but like guys like Brendan, who is probably a bigger introvert than I am, is like like you understand, like this will always be the big Gordian knot, the problem, right? Like artists with vision will always be looked over, but quote unquote artists who know how to manipulate their audience and sort of create, I guess, spectacle or whatever, or kind of like, you know, that guy who did that comic book Sex Criminals.
Yeah.
You heard that story, right? When he was doing the signings at a Comic-Con.
No. What was it?
So it was like I think it was at San Diego Comic-Con, and it was Artist Alley. And there's all these artists there, right, with all their tables. You know, big name, theoretically big name artists, like guys who've like created mainstream characters that people know and love. Like, like one story was, I think it was like, I forget who it was that created Wolverine, but that guy was like had a table and no one was at his table. But then like a few tables over was the dude who wrote Sex Criminals, and there's this freaking line snaking all the way around the freaking out of Artist Alley and all the way around, because they all wanted a signature, and the way he would sign it is he'd get like white out and splattered on the page to like make it look like someone came on the page, right? And now you've gone silent. Uh-oh. What happened, Lucius? What happened? I'm out of things to say, so now you gotta pick it up again. Uh-oh. Anyway, Lucius? Lucius. Come back. Come back, Lucius. No.
Sorry, dude. I was doing a bathroom run, man. I was letting you do your story. But you said they were doing whiteout.
Oh, you're in the bathroom right now. You're in the bathroom right now, motherfucker.
Yeah,
I can hear it.
You seem like you're dropping, so.
No, it was one of those short stories, but you get what I mean, right? Like.
So his big thing was.
I'm like way too stuffed up to make my point. Just fuck it. Let's just end the stream.
No, I'm not ending the stream. If you want to tap out, you can tap out.
No, I'm not tapping out. I'm not tapping out till you tap out.
Well, I'm not tapping out, bro.
Fuck.
Fuck. Mainly, one of the other things I want to hit upon that we were talking about here.
Yes.
I also, one of the things that I noticed, like this is just as a backer, this is something I think anyone running a campaign should be aware of, is like you should have complete fucking faith and like energy behind your project. Yeah. And that's where I feel like somebody who doesn't show up is just like, well, how much do you really believe in your own thing? Like you can't even talk about it. Listen, this is
dude,
just.
Come on. You've got an artist who's finished the book.
No, but I mean.
How can anyone make that argument?
Yeah, right. But I mean, you're talking from somebody. You come from the standpoint of knowing what it is to create the book. You have to. You're selling to somebody who has fucking no idea. Whatever. This is one of the things that drove me nuts about your boy Zach, and this is like him, this whole anticipation thing with Expendables Go to Hell. This was something when he launched it, he couldn't be bothered to show up and be on a live stream for, and I was just like,
Well, that's
really, dude? Like you're this is a big. This is not just like
yeah, but that's
you.
because he's got his own YouTube channel. He doesn't need to go onto any other channel. He's got his own YouTube channel with whatever, how many hundreds of thousands of followers he has, and he can just make videos promoting it.
So, somewhat, but here's the thing. This is what I'm getting at. I want to try to translate incomplete.
Okay, all right.
So Ethan Van Sciver starts up a. This is the first I hear of this whole project. Ethan is launching up a stream where he's like, "Oh shit, I was just talking with your boy Zach about this. Like it's been underground, it's been hush hush. We weren't supposed to talk about it. We're waiting on his go ahead, and now he's launched a project, and yet he was nowhere to be seen. And like he said something along the lines of like, yeah, I'm gonna watch The Predator, and I forget what it was. Watch The Predator, have a beer or like wings or something along the lines. Like he just didn't want to do a live stream at all. The thought was just too much for him to stomach, right? Like he's adverse to the live stream idea. But I'm like, this is not just this is a project you have the license to. Like this is way bigger than just you in a way. I mean, you're running it. It's your ball to carry wherever you want to go, but I can't believe you're not showing up to talk about this thing you fucking love. He fucking loves the series. Like it's evident that he fucking loves the Expendables franchise, and he couldn't even fucking show up to it and talk about it on his own launch. Like this is night of launch. Like it's all of a sudden just like I said, when I saw it on Twitter, I just thought, oh, it's just a review. Like it's some book that just got released, because that's usually how those things would go. It's like it's the newest thing, White Knight by what's his fucking face, one of these big titles or these books that just like strike a nerve, like the Batman book that had his penis showing or whatever. Like it just like it makes all the rounds, everyone's covering it, and I just figured it was just another one of those like, oh, it's the Expendables franchise and it's either a bomb or it's a hit, like it just hits it right. No, this is an entirely new franchise or a new book he's starting, and I only knew about it because Ethan was talking about it, and he went on for like 6 or 7 hours, and there was every other guest on it. No one from the book, by the way, not even the artist or writer. I was like, dude, you couldn't even send an envoy there, somebody else who's on the project to talk about it. It was just like Ethan, Cecil, like everyone ancillary, everyone in the group who had his back and was willing to do that. But it's just like how much am I supposed to really throw behind this when somebody from the own project can't come in here? Like it's like when you think about it, it's crazy in that sense. You just hit launch. Aren't you just like exploding to talk about it? Don't you want to say anything at all? Like even if he showed up for like a half hour and that's all you could do, I'd be okay with that. Just at least have a word.
Sure, but I mean, the thing you gotta understand, Lucius, is I think Zach might actually be on the spectrum in some regard.
Oh, I'm sure.
So for him to do something like that is probably like, it's probably something he dreads greatly. You know what I mean? And I think, because usually when he makes videos, he's just pre-recording them and editing them, which I think is a much more safer thing than, say, speaking off the cuff live. But that's the thing. That's sort of on average, that's kind of the kinds of temperaments of people who make these kind of projects. Like, they can make the product. It's just they are ill-equipped to promote the product. And I feel like that there's a real opportunity to fill this gap for someone who is very good at promoting and is willing to offer that kind of service to creators who might be, I guess, more interested in focusing on, as I said before, honing their craft and just making the best possible story that they can, because in their minds, at least, they're thinking, everything else doesn't really matter. The final thing, the true litmus test, is when the customer gets the product in their hand and they read it, and then they're either satisfied with their purchase or they're not, and that's what they're trying to achieve. They're not like look, I agree with you. It's like, I mean, I feel like there's like a disconnect here right now that's going on, and I'm obviously looking back at my life and thinking I should have just, instead of being an artist, I should have been a marketer and just drawn stick figures, and I probably would have made six figures.
You might have, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's kind of like the sad truth of our world right now, which is.
But you might have felt an emptiness for yourself, like.
Yeah,
like
but I would have been rich just drawing stick figures. Come on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
I mean, I wonder about. I mean, I'd be truly curious if you had a really private conversation with the likes of like Walt Disney. This is a guy who wanted to be an animator.
Well, that was the thing. Like, he wanted to be an animator, but he wasn't.
Yeah, but then he ended up running a company where he could make all the animations happen, but other people were always moving the pen, and I'm like, did he feel robbed in that? Like, where is this? Like, he must have had some satisfaction because he built this great house. I mean,
yes.
Only to watch it.
That was the thing. Walt wasn't that great of an animator to begin with.
Right, but I mean, in his heart of hearts, don't you think that's what he wanted to do? And then it's just like he found out.
But he was mature enough to realize, like, it's what I want to do, but I know that there are better people than me out there to do it. Who can do it. But he knew that. I mean, I think he had a pretty good idea that he was much better at, like, being an entrepreneur than being an artist, so to say. So
right, I just wonder if he naturally just went into that, and just like he was able to cut all ties with like that dream he had, and took on that.
No, he did cut ties with the dream. He just realized he could better leverage his natural abilities better. So,
and then
that's my opinion.
I kind of wonder because I forget who it was. Like it was one of his like early co-animators that he made partner, and it was some kind of like, it was like a rabbit or something, and then transferred him to Mickey.
So, yeah. He I think he sold the rights to Oswald initially,
and like that transformed into Mickey Mouse, and that ended up like being like kind of a whole litigation. Like you always hear about these like bands or like people like this, where like somebody ends up being like the guy who's leading the whole thing, and he has to like basically throw someone under the bus or their rights under the bus, and yet you see it over and over again. Like I'm just like, yeah, when it comes, it's easy to talk about it from outside the stands, but when it's your own money, like then it suddenly becomes really real. And then you're like, yeah, we're gonna sign contracts, and like look at Todd McFarlane with Spawn and the Image comics, and like there was this whole thing where he brought in Neil Gaiman and Alan Moore.
How did that work out for everybody?
With Angela and the hobo dude, I forget his name. They were like original characters created by them, and ended up in this whole fucking litigation case. Like I'm sure like by the end of it, he's like, God damn it, I'm gonna have everyone like sign a goddamn contract where like their work for hire, and whatever they write for me is owned. But like in the startup days, I mean, we're talking under like issue 10. I think it was like issue 8 or 9. Like this shit goes down, and like this is the stuff that ends up like haunting him in courts for years, costing him hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. Like it's just tons of litigation, lawsuits back and forth.
What about the story of Alan Moore and Watchmen?
Oh yeah. Well, that was one where it was a DC stipulation. Like as long as it was in print, they own the rights, and they just kept reprinting it.
Yeah, that was the thing. Actually, Eddie Campbell told me that story himself. He was like, always get a lawyer, because what had happened was, DC had shown him a contract, and he just signed it. He didn't get a lawyer to look at it, and so they fucked him. He got
Well, he was like the darling, and he just figured it was a great deal. And I mean, in most cases, it would have been. Like eventually, like a story loses steam, they no longer publish it, and then you might be able to move on with it. But like Watchmen was just a moneymaker, and DC was never going to let go of that bone. Yeah. So they just put out a new trade over and over and over again, and it sold regularly. It was one of their best sellers. So it's just one of those things. Yeah, like I remember you talking to what was his name? George, the Muppet guy, Blue Muppet guy. And you're just like an artist. Who? An artist will always screw himself out of a good deal. It's something you said.
Wait, George? Who?
Yeah, it was on one of our things. We had you were talking about NFTs and stuff, and then George Gaddis or something like that. He has like this Muppet guy as like his character that he has in his own indie thing. I forget Joe King or something like that.
Oh, Joseph.
Well, George is the creator's name. But he came on and you guys were in the back and forth, and like at some point you're just like, yeah, you can always count on an artist to screw himself out of a better deal. Something along that lines is what you said, and it was a great fucking quote. Like it got laughs from everybody.
Well, that's an old quote. That's an old quote.
Yeah, but dude, I would say that's the first time I've ever heard you say it. Like, and your delivery was perfect. Like it sold it so well. So it's like that's case in point. I would say that Watchmen is probably Alan Moore's greatest writing work, like as one standalone project. I liked From Hell as well. But
From
like,
Hell was shit.
I actually really dig that. But I would say Watchmen is his magnum opus. Like it was just like him at his best energies, his highest writing style. Everything just went together. I mean, there's like a whole like bibliography website thing that they dedicated to it, like the annotated Watchmen, like cluing in all the references, all the background information. Like this is between him, Dave Gibbons, and I'm not sure how much the colors had in on it or anything. I think even Dave Gibbons was the letterer. But they were collaborators. I mean, like true collaborators, like back and forth. They were meeting up like face to face, like talking over issues and like really defining what the repeating motifs and storylines and really embedding all the shit inside of it. And there was like a good making of book. I'm going to search it up real quick. I think it's like Who Watches the Watchmen or something like that. And it's like Dave Gibbons like notes like even Dave Gibbons got thrown under the Alan Moore bus.
Oh, really?
Well, I guess when it came to the movie, they had a
stipulation or something.
Well, how much money they were going to get as creators, and I think Alan Moore basically gave Dave Gibbons the money he would be owed because he wanted nothing to do with it. He wants nothing to do with any of his creation from comic book being made into a movie. Yeah. And so he's just like, yeah, whatever you were going to give me, just give it to Dave. And then he wanted like a thank you from Dave that I guess he came late in on, or like he never gave him. And that was that. Like he was just done with it. I'm trying to like, maybe it's out of print.
Don't worry about it.
But it was basically like
an hour and 13 minutes.
It was Watching the Watchmen. That's the name of it.
Oh, okay.
This is a book where I'm gonna make sure I'm not signed in. Okay, good. Where he has like all of his background designs, like he's showing like his layouts on the building where like Rorschach is interrogating Moloch. Rorschach, yeah. Rorschach is interrogating Moloch, and like how he's divvying up the like the building scene and viewing in on the stuff. There's the issue where they go to Mars and like the new Miss Jupiter, like her perfume bottle like tumbles in the zero gravity, and like he like maps out the star systems and how it's rotating. Like, dude, he does like this elaborate shit. where it's like it's kind of throwaway. Like there's no reason he has to do that, but he did it anyway. But it like builds to this greater building of the whole thing, and you get to see like how he like has this architecture in the book. It's a really good like making of to look at. I really loved it. But before we go, sorry, one more thing.
You're going to torture me. I'm ready to die here.
Sorry, my friend. I found the second wind. Sheila Aliens, who is getting in on AI Art plus cat adoption, apparently. She's got like 7 cats.
I don't think she's adopting cats. I think those are just strays that just keep
which I give her leeway on. Like just throwing food out is one thing. Actually taking them in and taking care of them is a whole nother thing. But she's been in on this AI art stuff that is so this is like AI art here. So this is, let's see, teddy bears working on new AI research on the moon in the 1980s. That's what they typed in. That's what it spit out. That's fucking kind of, I mean, I guess this ball up here should be Earth, but it's not. But otherwise, that's fucking crazy what it is able to do.
So like that one there in the middle with the
these are this.
Yeah.
The heads?
No, the ones above them.
Uh-huh.
The landscapes, yes. With the trees.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm interested in that stuff.
Yeah, and like I've been watching what it's been doing, and like the first initial stuff, I was just kind of like, I'm not so sure.
I actually like the initial stuff because it's like this strange, almost.
So this is a Mid-Journey here, but that's a closed beta that I guess she has access to. So she just did like Spring Dress or something like that, and that's what you get. And even the humans look fucking creepy. Like what happens with them here?
AI humans, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, still, I mean, this probably takes 20 seconds to generate, if that. Like it's crazy what it pulls off.
I mean,
and like these, so I mean, this is like this looks to me like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas style. I forget the artist's name, but that's what that reminds me of. And then we kind of get this one kind of in between, but the next one is kind of remind me of like Aubrey Beardsley, like kind of style, graphic style. Yeah. Like it's fucking crazy how I'm seeing like artist styles kind of mixed in on this. I think on that second one, I thought, was there any input for like Gustav Klimt? Because it kind of looked like The Kiss to me, like, and with this figure work and stuff, like it's kind of insane, and it's like so trippy beyond trippy. Like I don't think anyone could do it on their own necessarily, because it's like it's kind of like a child's understanding of English that's fueling this stuff because it's so warped and interplayed.
I just wish that there was a free option that would just make like, you know.
I was trying to look into it to see it. And I remember posting something before, but like again, it was like really low res, and it was very limited on what it could do.
Because I remember, like, I think it was maybe last year where they had like a website that was doing free generations for you, and it would just be like this strange, like melty kind of, I guess, what would you say, hallucinogenic kind of thing, because the algorithm was still new or so.
And a number of these look like the I don't know the artist's name, but like the Scary Stories books and stuff like that, like very fine, delicate ink work kind of look. And I asked her if
Cronenberg-esque.
Yeah. I asked her if this was like Human Centipede was worked in on this at all. Like, I mean, this is like stuff of horrors, man. Like kind of thing that's going on here. Beyond, I think, even the norm of like what most people would put into it. And let's see, this is like
there's a cat,
like moon face kind of people.
Yeah, moon people. Yep.
And it's just kind of nuts. I mean, this is like generated in seconds. Like I'm there's a part of me that's like, oh my god, they'll never need artists again. But I think like too much of it's going to fall into like this hippie space. But at the same time, like she says, like, oh, this would make great t-shirts. Yeah, kind of, but how much control do you have over it? Like it's kind of shooting in the dark. and how much could you build around it? I like you and I were talking about like having backgrounds and stuff, filler kind of items.
I just want the trippy shit, you know.
Right.
But,
and I was trying to research into like what you could look into. I would love to like talk to her about it, like what her experience is with it.
I would like to ask her if she could generate some stuff for us, because I guess she's paying for it in a way. Maybe she's got.
Well, she's in on the beta for the one. I think she's just been in on the whole thing, and maybe it was other betas. I remember she put out a link for one of them, and I was able to like kind of mess around with it, and it was sort of based on your selection, and maybe like you do a basic kind of drawing, and then it works around that. Like it needs something to start with. To feed it with, and then you give it a description, and it works from like what you drew out to fill in the rest. And some of them just work from like you feed it a digital image, and it works from that. There's some things like when I was looking it up, there's one where it's supposed to be basically like you can have a facsimile of your face represent you on like text, like basically all the platforms you could think of: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Like it'll give you a profile pic that looks like you, but it's not you. Like you just feed it your basic picture, and it'll make out like about a dozen alternates where you can use that as like your profile picture, and that way it's like it's a representation of you, but it's not you.
Okay, great. Well, that was awesome.
So you ready to get out of here?
I am so ready to go because my nose is gushing like a fountain.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for coming in. This has been a Lucius Live with Fresher Luke coming in, fresher than usual.
No.
Just a little bit.
No, not really.
He's dripping at the ends with his freshness.
That's not fresh at all. It's
super
opposite.
Fresh.
It's the opposite.
Dripping faucet fresh. Anyways, thanks for coming in tonight.
Thank you for having me. Sorry, I ended it abruptly. I really got
No worries. I assume you're in like threat level midnight right here. So let's end the show.
Stay fresh.